Hey everybody, welcome back to Backlog Banter. Today is a very special video because not only can I reach out and touch one Mr. Tucker Hazel, but we are here because Nintendo just announced the Nintendo Switch OLED model.
True.
Is it the Switch Pro? Is it not?
Oh.
We're going to get into it. But before we do, if you want to tell us your thoughts about the new Switch model, if you want to tell us anything at all, link to our Discord as usual, top of the description only down there. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell because it's a big boy day.
Yeah, and while you're at it, watch my reaction. And he was there
Yes,
too,
I
but
was
my
there too.
reaction to the reveal trailer here.
Yes, because it's important to note, I woke up this morning, and I'm usually a little bit of a groggy boy when I wake up. I see Switch LED, OLED.
Yeah,
I
actually,
hop out of bed. I zip up the stairs. I wake up one Mr. Tucker Hazel. And then we sit down to make some content. Now, before we begin, give our thoughts, I'm going to do a quick breakdown of what this device actually is, courtesy of Nibel on Twitter. Phenomenal
Classic guy.
account. Classic account.
Friend of the show.
Let's say it.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll manifest it.
Let's manifest it, sure. Nintendo Switch OLED announced out October 8th, Metroid Dread's release day. Comes with an adjustable wide stand, 7-inch OLED screen, enhanced audio in tabletop mode, well, in general, but it's mainly for tabletop mode, a wired LAN port, and more, 64 gigs of internal storage. Well, it's just better sound overall, but it's designed, Still uses the same Joy-Con. You can still use the same dock if you want to.
Yeah.
It retails for $349.99, and it runs games up to 720p in handheld and up to 1080p in
the same.
So
it's
the
Switch.
Yes.
Okay.
So the hullabaloo on Twitter, of course, is that with no 4K, no substantive power upgrades. So I want to begin this by saying I told you so.
Yeah. No,
I told you so.
Now here's the thing. I think there's two caveats from this because this is not. This doesn't come off as a very Nintendo move, calling it the OLED model. Like it sounds a little more technical,
more Sony almost.
Sure, yeah, sure. more PC. I don't want to, say the cursed words here on our channel, but you're right. Yeah. I mean, the Switch Pro was, I think, everyone just projecting their hopes that the Switch would finally run comparatively. Well, guess not.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is perfect. You're right. I think there's a lot of community projection. I think that the cynical fact of the matter is that the Switch is finally a popular Nintendo device again. Yeah. So what people wanted was for Nintendo to stop being Nintendo.
Yes.
But you got to think about it this way. Nintendo's focus, especially with handheld consoles, but really all of their systems, going back to Mr. Gunpei Yokoi, who I love to bring up whenever I can, is about iterating with older technology, making it accessible, making it fresh, making it new. And that does not track against the device that'd probably be $500 to $600 that has 4K, that has all these things built in.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
And the Switch would not benefit from that the way people think it would. It's not going to get them on par with PS5 and Xbox Series X, so they were never going to get that third-party support. Nintendo's games are not predicated on power, and the success of the Switch is due in large part to a very accessible price point on top of just being an accessible ecosystem. So it would not have made any sense.
This is still the cheapest console available right now, even with that OLED bump by 50 bones.
So the Switch Pro serviced like the most narrow minority of people who basically already have Switches and wanted a more powerful one.
Yeah.
So I'll put it out there on the table, Tucker. I'm probably not going to pre-order, but if I can walk into Nintendo New York, where it will be on Dread's launch day, so I probably can do this.
That's not going to happen.
We'll see. I'd like it to, but if I can find one, I will buy one. But it's not an immediate necessity for me to upgrade.
And for me, this feels more almost a Christmas gift kind of ask.
Sure.
Sure. Or a little bit later down the pipeline, which I think it's honestly not a huge get for Nintendo if people like us who have been invested in the ecosystem since day one aren't particularly gravitated towards this new hardware SKU.
Sure.
I think what this is doing mostly is slightly future-proofing the Switch, but also kind of barely. Do we know if they're discontinuing the original Switch model or the red box Switch model or whatever in favor of this?
I don't think we know that, but I would assume the answer is yes. I mean, if you look at what they did with the 3DSs, it was always, let's knock the last model off. And now you're really never going to find a 3DS model. It's only 2DSs and XLs in the wild. But new 3DS, kick out the old one, the XL and everything. So that's what they did to the launch Switch. You can't find that. You only can find the red box.
Good point.
So I think that's going to happen. I think what this does mostly is speak to that sort of goal that they've talked about of having multiple Switches in a house.
Sure.
And I think this is a great system to upgrade to and to give your Switch to somebody else.
Well, that was my plan the entire time. I mean, my brother got a Switch 2 years ago or something, lost it. No idea where that thing is. He had Pokemon. He was loving Pokemon, Smash, whatever. Sure. And he doesn't have a Switch anymore because who the hell knows what happened to it. And I told him when I was back in town a couple weeks ago, I was like, hey, if Nintendo releases a new model of the Switch, I won't need my old one anymore, and you can have it. I mean, maybe I'll charge him like $50 for it or something. But that is a good point. There are a lot of launch Switch users whose Switches are starting to show a little bit of signs, and even if it doesn't excite us particularly to get in on day one because there's not a huge amount of benefits over the original Switch model, we're going to get it eventually, and then that's another Switch sold, from both of us.
Yeah, and
they'll sell at least 2. We can guarantee that.
I think we can guarantee that because like my Switch's kickstand doesn't stay on. My Joy-Con rails do not lock anymore.
Yeah.
My screen is scratched. You can see the top where it's starting to expand from the heat a little bit.
I haven't had that problem, but it would suck. Yeah.
So, I'm obviously going to upgrade. I don't think that what they're offering here is as imperative to make sure I secure pre-order or something.
Sure.
But for me to talk about the new features, I think that the Switch is primarily a handheld device. And I think the way that a lot of people use it is handheld, is tabletop, is the hybrid design. And that's certainly how I use my Switch most of the time.
Yeah.
And so having a 7-inch OLED screen is really great. Those things look beautiful if you've ever seen an OLED TV or a OLED Vita or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big boon for me. I think the smaller bezel is great. I think that a lot of things they're saying are great.
What's the screen size of the normal Switch? Like the actual
6.2.
Oh, okay. So that's a good amount bigger.
0.8 inches doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're looking at the change, considering it's basically the same form factor overall.
Do we have a top by top comparison? No.
Someone said it's 0.1 inches bigger overall, but it's basically the same device.
Sure. Okay.
The cat, you talk to the audience.
What is she chewing on?
She's trying to chew on this plastic.
Oh, she loves plastic bags.
Yes, as cats tend to do.
But I mean, honestly, that's the one thing I didn't really think about because when I'm going into this discussion saying that, I'm probably not going to get it at launch. Yeah. My main contention is that, okay, I wanted it to have more power. And I'm not alone in that, but I think you're right in that the gamers that are craving that are certainly in the Nintendo minority. But that OLED screen and making the games look significantly more vibrant in handheld mode is pretty important. And it's not going to be, is there even, there's no changes to the docked mode performance or anything, right?
No.
Yeah. So that is one thing that I actually will take into consideration more. But for me, the thing that most shocked me was the fact that they finally admitted the kickstand blows and gave us much stronger one that is adjustable. Like that's a really cool idea. And rest in peace to all the dock company or the stand companies that are like, hey, we know how much the Switch stand sucks. Buy this because it's adjustable and you can do whatever you want with it. It's a lot stronger. Bye. Yeah, your product just became obsolete. But I think that's what most was like. Oh, they really did that, and it's pretty cool actually.
It's a quality of life upgrade. Yeah, this entire thing is a quality of life upgrade, and that's exactly QOL. Yeah, which I think is exactly what we needed because I keep interrogating in my mind. What do we need the power for? What is the power really going to give us?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mole Mania 4K.
Mole Mania 4K.
Yeah,
I mean, it could have happened.
Could have happened. Now, never gonna happen.
We're not gonna live in that world anymore. It's disappointing.
So fucked up.
But I just think that if you look back at what Nintendo has done since forever,
well, it's a long time,
and you think about how their games are designed, what did we need? And I really think this is what we needed. And I think this services their idea about getting more Switches and more households. I think it services the player who plays a lot in handheld mode, and I think the docked experience ultimately is fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
I also think the 350 price point is pretty solid. Yeah. I mean, I'm very happy it's not 400.
Yeah.
I'm not unsurprised that I just did like a triple negative there. That it's not 300. Because they are upgrading it, and Nintendo probably wouldn't be like admitting that we want to give you this better thing, but it's the same price. So I think 350 is a solid middle ground.
Yeah.
And at this point, if you really want a Switch, 350 is still the cheapest console on the market.
Yeah.
So it's negligible, all things considered.
The real gambit is going to be if you can get a bundle with Metroid Dread for 300 or 350. So effectively.
Ooh, that'd be tasty.
So effectively, you're getting it for what, $290?
$290, yeah, because you'd be all one Metroid anyway.
Fucking throw a little bit of tax.
Well, of course, Metroid 2D, so it's not worth $60. So really, you're just getting it as a bonus.
I do want to note quickly, it is great that Metroid is a game selling this system.
Yeah, that shows a lot of confidence with this game.
It shows a lot of confidence in this game because if you think back, there's always been like the unofficial launch title for some of these,
revisions.
Yeah. Your Link's Awakening made a lot of sense on the Lite, which is a more portable experience. I think it communicates a lot that this more serious, dedicated Metroid game is what you want to play on your premium Switch. That's really important. And as someone who's really excited for Dread, I think that's great.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll see what their marketing for this becomes, because Nintendo just did the most Nintendo thing and announced the thing that everyone's been wanting.
Yeah.
On a random Tuesday morning, in a 3-minute video, which we could have expected. It would have been interesting to see something like this in a direct.
Yeah.
I think that would have gotten a lot more eyes on it, and certainly have been a pop. But that might have, because it wasn't an actual Switch Pro, that might have led to some, at least in our circles, a little bit of disappointment for live reactions, which on the whole, that wasn't really felt in especially the E3 direct, because that was, as our video says, best direct in years, ?
But also they're trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well,
of course.
Yeah. So I think this was fine. I think it's really interesting that it's launching in October, even beyond Metroid. Like that's
August, September, October. Almost
it's few months.
3 months.
It's few of them.
July to August, September, October. So 3 months.
3 months.
3 months away.
So
wow.
That's not very long.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Yeah, we've been practicing that.
We have been practicing that. With the chip shortage, with everything, it's very interesting. Nintendo is railroading this device through this year. I think that's very interesting. I don't really have anything more to say than that on that point, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about it, honestly. I mean, I know it exists, but I don't know if they're using a different chipset or
it's a custom Tegra chipset. I don't know what that means in terms of production and everything.
Sounds like some Transformers shit. Yeah. Okay, continue.
Here's the big thing. The big question, elephant in the room, the Joy-Con drift issue.
Yeah. I think these Joy-Con are probably secretly improved.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
I think here's the thing. Nintendo is not stupid. Well, you can make a case for it. Joy-Con drift is such a pervasive issue that they're going to court many times for it. I think they recognize that at the earliest possible convenience, they need to get these fucking Joy-Con out.
Yeah.
And so I think it is inconceivable and incredibly damning if this releases with the same Joy-Con.
That'll be really interesting. I don't know how we'll be able to tell. I'm sure they're
Spawnwave will rip it apart.
Yeah, people tear this shit 7 ways from Sunday and be like, oh, this little diddle is different.
Yeah, and if the diddle is
same,
if the diddle is different, then it's probably fine. But I mean, think about it.
My grandpa always told me.
Nintendo released the red box Switch. Kind of without telling people. They're like, it's got a bigger battery, but most importantly, that was released because there's a huge vulnerability in the launch switches. If you get like a fucking paper clip, you can mod your Switch and jailbreak it over and whatever people do. So that red Switch was basically predicated on making the system more secure. But they didn't say that because of course they're not going to say, hey guys, we fucked up, huge vulnerability in the old Switch hardware. So I don't think they're going to do that with the Joy-Con either. They're going to be like, this is the same Joy-Con in looks and utility because that is so essential to the Switch experience.
Yeah.
But underneath, we don't want to go to court anymore. These things are not going to drift on you.
We'll see. I mean, that's a wait and see thing. The interesting thing to see will be if they sell this set separately, or if they have
Sure.
more Joy-Con pairs sold separately that are launching alongside this, which presumably would be that new Joy-Con model, under the hood at least.
Yeah.
If there's a Metroid Dread pair, if they have something coming out, later in the year, different color palette, because one other thing is that this is a white model. You get a white dock and a white pair of Joy-Con.
Yes.
Which is looking pretty slick. It's got that Emmy look.
It does have that Emmy look.
That
MF Emmy look.
A little bit of synergy there.
There's some synergy there. I would like a really real Metroid Switch.
A Dread model, yeah.
Yeah, because like that new 3DS, that Metroid Samus Transient 3DS.
Never saw it.
Go orange and like the Samus stencil, and the red and the gold.
Don't remember that one.
It's sleek. I like a sleek device. I will say. I think special editions are kind of gaudy for the most part.
Yeah.
So give me just that clean white. I'm not opposed to it.
Anything else to say though? I think we've said our piece.
One thing that we're going to keep an eye on, Tucker, and we mentioned this in our reaction. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl looks different and better.
Oh yeah, it does. And I feel like that's almost a different discussion about the fact that we haven't seen that game forever, but now we're seeing it in like a 3-second footage and whatever.
We just want to put that on your radar. The game looks different and better.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like there's a different like shader, different
color palette,
and color palette and everything. Mm-hmm. Also giving a guy a couple seconds of Splatoon footage.
Same footage, I think.
Was it the same footage?
Look at the trailer stuff.
Oh, that's too bad. Oh well. But I got to see Splatoon 3 again.
You sure?
Yeah. I think that's it, right?
No. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. We will be around to talk about anything else that comes up about this Nintendo OLED Switch, and we'll see you guys in those videos.
Goodbye. Are you gonna do the intro? You want me to?